Hello, today is the 31st of July 2024. I wanted to make a quick observation on the Jonbenet Ramsey case, and I wanted to mention a few items, details that perhaps escape many people that look into this case. The first one being that the case is an open case. It is still ongoing. Although it is cold, it is still open, and that means that the Boulder Police Department's FBI, Colorado Bureau of Investigation, most likely than not, have information, details, evidence, testimony, things about the case that the public does not know. And that is something to take into consideration when even commenting on this case. And it is that there are many factors, most likely, that we don't know. There are, again, all those details, all those things that may not be public and must be still considered by people forwarding theories, any kind of comment or thinking about the case. For example, there may be physical evidence that we don't know about, even DNA evidence. There may be evidence even of people that left things on Jonbenet, the body, and they just don't say anything about it. So perhaps that is why the case is so perplexing to most of us, because we just don't have the whole picture. We don't have the time, resources, effort. We don't live in Boulder. We don't live in that time where this crime occurred. Many years have passed, over 27, 28 or so, and much of the evidence has been utterly destroyed. Much of the factors that perhaps may help were already destroyed by now. People may have died that actually committed the crime or had details of the crime. I mean, there's so many angles that may be missing, information that people may not have. So just recognize that ignorance if you comment about this case, if you try to even further the case. Many lawyers, people, experts, so-called experts, have tried to forward or even solve the case, and all they have is the details that are being made public. Unless you work for the Boulder Police Department or the FBI or the CBI, you really have to recognize that you don't have all the information that you may need to even forward the case, let alone solve it. So let's be a bit humble. Also, I wanted to mention that there may be evidence of even a foreign faction. I am not sure if and how much the investigators of the case have looked into foreign threats of the day. By foreign, I mean outside of the house, as far as organized crime, rings, etc. I'm sure they have looked at some of that. I'm not sure how extensively they did look into it. Maybe some of you in the audience have some details about how much this was investigated. I have read a few books on the subject. The one from Steve Thomas, the one from Cyril Wecht, from Marcel Elfers. I am in the middle of reading Perfect Murder, Perfect Town. There may be one more that escapes my mind. So I've read, I would say, a bit more than the average person, but yet I'm to find that authorities have looked into the angle of a actual foreign faction, whether it's international or domestic. But I believe that is a possibility where representatives of a foreign faction were sent to kidnap a child for money, and that is why they chose a wealthy person such as John and Patty Ramsey. And as it was mentioned to me in a comment on a previous video, thank you for that comment, whoever sent it. I missed noting who that was, but thank you. But that person commented that on the note it says that the people that either wrote the notes or committed the crime or tried to kidnap Jonbenet were not a foreign faction, but were representatives from a foreign faction. That is actually what the note says. I went back and checked, and in fact that is the case. So that brings into the realm of possibility a bit more, I believe, that really there may have been a plot gone awry, and the $118,000 being just a down payment, so to speak, on what would be a very, very high amount for the return or possible return or the bluff return of the child, Jonbenet. So the amount asked may have been a low amount because it was going to be a start of what would be a cash cow scenario where John Ramsey is basically made to give increasingly higher and higher amounts of money. That may be why they also warned that the delivery was going to be exhausting, because it may have required long distance travel, perhaps by air, perhaps internationally, where the foreign faction may actually meet, or a representative from such faction may actually meet John Ramsey. And this may have been also possible because they knew Ramsey had the very likely possibility, the ease and the resources to make that happen, to have him travel abroad or long distance by air or otherwise to deliver money, etc. So the ransom notes may have been a real attempt at a ransom, kidnapping for money, and the low amount may have been just a start. There are holes and problems with that theory as well. I don't claim that it is a solid, waterproof theory. However, it is a possibility that these representatives were actually inept, underpaid, and fumbling idiots that botched the real and actual kidnapping for money.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. Please look for the next episode soon, and please ensure to share this with your friends and family. And please like this content and subscribe as a sign of support and for me to continue to provide this type of content to more people like you. Lastly, if you wish to support this content further, please visit the links provided in this publication. Thank you.